So we're in the shop today and we're going to talk about arcing your brake shoes. Now, this is a topic that I decided to make a video about because of the disc brake debacle that's going on right now. And it's a problem that I know a lot of drivers had, a couple new drivers to our region have had, getting the maximum out of their braking power. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I have a couple of brake shoes that were generously donated by Coyote Racing. Dietmar at Coyote Racing sent me these to make this video. They're just some stock shoes that he had laying around that he wasn't going to use, possibly because they were off-brand or not very good, or just something he wasn't interested in using anymore. Anyway, he sent me these for the video. If you need anything, if you need a good set quality shoes or other V parts, you can contact Dietmar at coyoteracing.com and he'll help you out. So I have a couple of drums here that I wanted to show you the difference in. Basically, this drum has been used. It is still good condition in my opinion. I can still use it. I keep it as a spare. It has been used and it has been cut, so the surface material here has been cut probably more than once to clean it up. And you can see this is a little rusted just from sitting, but that has increased the overall diameter of this drum. So now a stock shoe is cut to a certain arc, and it's not going to fit in this drum very well. As you can see, there's a gap here, and that's what we're going to talk about eliminating. Okay, and then this drum, I really don't know if this has ever been cut. It may have been at one time, but it's very close to a stock size, because if I put the shoe in this drum, we can see that there's almost no or very little gap, probably no gap. I would say this shoe would be 100% ready to go directly into this drum as it is. I would just put these shoes right into, if I was running these drums, I'd just put them right on and run them. So there's very little. This is a perfect contact patch all the way across. And that's what we're going to aim for. Now, you probably don't have an option to run brand new drums, or maybe you don't have a million drums laying around, or used drums like I do. I have a few used drums, spares, but if this were the drum that was on my car, and this is probably what most of us are working with out there, then we really need to address this amount of gap that we have, because this is going to reduce our braking efficiency and braking power. So see, I'm gonna hold down the shoe hard on one side, because this is what's going to happen when you hit the brakes. The wheel cylinder is going to expand and push these shoes down, and it's only pushing on one side. The other side is static. That's where the adjuster is. So you're only pushing on this one side, and when that side gets pushed down, it creates this arc, or this opening in, not sure how well you guys can see that on the zoom, okay, and you can see that we're not getting a full contact patch like we would in this drum over here. Or if I push down on this side, very little, if any, is lifting. So this is what we're looking for. This is what we want. And if you don't have another drum to do this with or change out, you gotta deal with what you got. So we're gonna fix this shoe. We're gonna arc this shoe to make it work in this drum, and that's normally what I would have to do on my car. Even if you buy high performance shoes, you're gonna want to do this. So to do it, I just use this belt sander. Some of the Steve Pastor at Vee Racing, he can do these for you, and he has a arcing machine where he can put a perfect arc on these for you. But this is the way you're going to do it at home if you want to tackle it yourself. So this has a lot of material left on it. I wouldn't recommend doing it with a shoe that had very little material on it, or a used set of shoes really. We're just going to take some of the material out of the center, and we're going to increase this radius overall so it fits in this drum a lot better. So let's fire up our machine. And as you can see, see I just rocked it back and forth just to take a little bit of material out of the center. And then we're going to stick it back in here and check our radius again. Now with a stock shoe, material will come off pretty easily. Now we still have quite a bit of a gap there. So we're still going to have to go quite a bit further with this. Make sure you're wearing your mask when you do this. Okay, so we're going to hold it here, and we're getting a lot closer. So we're looking to get about, I want to say, let's see, the gap is kind of opening in the center, so we're taking a little bit too much off the center, so we want to roll a little bit more than that. I'll hold it on this side, we can try to determine. And we're getting very, very close. And just keep checking it, take your time, especially if you're working with an expensive set of brake pads, or shoes rather. You don't want to go over. So I'm just, again, holding down on this side tightly to see how much gap we have, and we're getting very, 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 very close. So, you know, I might work with this a little bit more to get it just perfect, but that's about what you need to do. I mean, I wouldn't suggest trying to make it absolutely perfect, because it will arc itself in the car. So as you go out, this is probably close enough. As you go out and run a couple sessions, this shoe, the material, the high spots obviously are going to wear off. Now, yeah, we don't want any high spots if we can avoid it, but once you get it very, very close like this, I would say put it in the car and run it. And after a couple sessions, you're going to be 100% contact, or the best contact you're going to get out of those shoes. But you could see the big difference between what we had before and what we have now. And I'm pulling tight on this side, and we're getting very little, if the focus will come in here, very little lift, and we could massage just a little bit more to get it even better than this. So that's what you need to do. That's all we're looking to do with these stock shoes especially, is just take a little bit of material off the center and get a much better contact patch. Because what's going to happen if you don't do that, and you're only using 20 to 30% of your brakes, you're not going to have a good time out there. You're going to struggle. Your brakes are going to get hotter than they need to be, much faster than they should be, because you have a much smaller contact patch, and that's going to cause other problems for you. So, this is the first video of a series of videos I'm hoping to make about, taking care of your car and doing your brakes, especially to help you guys out. So if you have any questions, to get a hold of me, you guys know me in the New England area, or Ditmar at Coyote Racing, or even Steve Pastor at Vee Sport Racing, and those guys can help you out and do this job for you if you don't want to tackle it yourself, or certainly point you in the right direction to help you guys out. So if you have any questions, get a hold of somebody. We're more than, the Vee community is great. We're more than willing to help everybody out. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.